infection that could resist all available antibiotics. The case occurred last year and details have just been released in a report by the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She was infected with Klebsiella pneumoniae, which normally lives in the gut without causing disease. Helen Branswell is a senior writer on infectious diseases for Stat News. She told me that health authorities are deeply concerned about the case.
Some of the details obviously are not known. This, as is always the case, her name and personal details have not been released. What is known is that she was a woman who was in her 70s, a resident of Reno, Nevada, or that area, but had been spending quite a bit of time in India in the 2 years prior to her death. She had an accident of some sort, not clear what, and broke her femur in the right leg, which is the big bone in your thigh. After that, she developed a bone infection in that bone and also in her hip. And over the next couple of years, she was in and out of hospital a lot in India, as recently as last June, as a matter of fact. That's kind of a risk factor because India has quite a high rate of some of these superbugs that we were hearing a lot about lately. Then she went to the United States, showed up for care in a hospital in Reno and was quite sick, and they tried to cure her and could not.
What does this mean and how worrying is it?
Well, people have been warning for quite a while that we're running out of antibiotics, essentially, that the bacteria are evolving faster than we can produce new drugs. Health officials have been worried about it a lot. The reason that I was keen to write about this story, though, is because it sort of translates what seems sometimes like a theoretical risk into reality. I mean, this is happening. It doesn't happen daily, at least not in developed countries, but it is happening and it is going to continue to happen and at escalating rates.
Is there any concern that the bug, the bacteria could have transferred from that woman in the US hospital treatment centres that she was being cared for?
Sure, that would obviously always be a concern. The hospital seems to have caught fairly quickly that she had a multi-drug resistant bacteria, and they isolated her. And the healthcare team that worked on her used what are called contact precautions. They were wearing gowns and gloves and had to obviously wash their hands going out of her room. They've tested the healthcare workers. They've tested people who were in parts of the hospital near her. So far, there's no evidence that the bug spread, but experts are saying it's really only a matter of time before we see more of these bugs in our hospitals.
Helen Branswell, who writes on health matters.